In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 8 of the Moon Tea podcast, where we discuss craft, community, and the pursuit of a meaningful career. I'm John. This is Hugh, right over there.
I'm here, right here. Hello.
And yeah, let's get into it. Well, how's it going?
Good, dude. I feel like we start this off every time. I love it. What are we going to talk about today? I don't know.
When I was editing the podcast, like usually we'll close and then we'll talk a little bit more. And I was listening to it and I was like, this could be in the podcast too. It's a funny feeling.
I wonder how we do that. Just cut in sound bites someday.
Yeah,
I feel like that's when you get even more raw. Or like, tell me more about struggles. Oh, okay.
and then we'll go from 2 people listening to just you and me, and then like someone dropping in for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we put it out there, and if you're listening, shout out to you.
Oh no, I think they've just dropped off. I think we have like an average listen rate of like 7 minutes. See ya.
We love you. Please stay.
What do you want to talk about today, though? Let's see. What's our hook to keep people on really quick? What do we want to talk about?
We don't need a hook.
The hook
we're just authentically ourselves.
Dude, Doge? Question mark? Yeah, Doge. I don't know.
Do you have weird. Doge?
I do. I had like about like a $400 worth a few months ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just on. It's now like 2,500. Nice. It's kind of weird. I'm like, maybe it dropped a bit today. It went down like 7 cents. But I'm just holding it. I don't really. It's kind of a gimmick coin, and I don't fully trust it. But I just bought it because some of my friends did, and that's like the first crypto that they ever got in on. Because I've been the guy who's been like, we should buy some crypto. We should, and some Bitcoin or Ethereum or mainly Bitcoin. And then they tell me they went and bought Doge. And I'm like, oh my God, why Doge is your first coin? But it was good, actually. I think it's a good gateway. And I think it's a really fun experience for a lot of people. So I hope for the best.
Yeah, some people in the Bitcoin maximalist community will hate on Doge because they're just like, they're not taking it seriously. But honestly, the kind of people who would be into Doge are the kind of people that eventually could be like into Bitcoin and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's not people who are like cypherpunks talking about like studying monetary policy in their free time who like gravitate towards Doge. It's people who, I mean, many kinds of people, but I feel like the kind of people who like Doge are just like not taking it seriously and just being like, this is funny, this is a meme, okay. And like, yeah, that's one way to like start to learn more about crypto.
Yeah, that's the thing that I love most about it, actually. It started off as a meme coin, as people can see within a quick Google search, and the guy made it as just a troll coin. But then the community, there's like the subreddit of it, and I kind of, when I was really looking into it a few months ago, I was like, oh, they actually have quite a lot of fun persona and a light air to them. I don't know about now because of the dilution due to just a lot of market dynamics and people coming in, but back in the day, X number of years, it was just a really lighthearted community that'd be like, hey, give me Doge for free, or let me tip Doge to you. You were great. They even funded a bobsled team to the Olympics or something like that with Dogecoin.
Maybe it was like NASCAR.
Okay, yeah, NASCAR, yeah. And I think that's a really cool thing. So I totally agree with you. Just the people that are popping into it are just normal people that kind of have other things to do in life, and they don't get afraid of the price tag on it because it's really quote unquote cents on the dollar, right? And so I think it's a really cool way for people to get introduced. Like I personally wish that Bitcoin was really talked about in like micro Bitcoins, like Satoshi's really. And then the whole conversation would be different, because it's not like a Tesla share where it's, or an Amazon share where it's $3,000 for a share, or a Berkshire Hathaway for 200K. It's a Bitcoin is not only 56K. It's, as we all know, a Satoshi, which is 0.0001 pennies. And that's like the minimal divisible unit right now. But to each their own. I guess one day we'll get to Satoshis, but right now it's just so expensive, quote unquote. But really it's not. Yeah, Doge is cool. Beware though, it's got a 5% inflation rate every day, every year. Every day it like inflates by 1.2 million, and just to keep the same price, I guess. Yeah. What is it? 5.24 billion new Doge tokens are added to the pool every year. And it's got
wow.
Yeah. Dude, a fun fact. Did you know when they were mining this? Super, and it was, they made it so trolly that when you were mining for those people who know, when you have a crypto, a blockchain tech, the miners are the people that kind of dig for the coins and race to break the algorithmic number. That's like and whoever breaks that little code wins a reward. And that's how you get new crypto on a chain. And so with Dogecoin, they made it so memey that whoever won that reward and mined that block, they would get either between either 1 and 1 million Dogecoins. And it was just a random value. And so that's how it came to be. I'm like, wow. And so as people may or may not know, right now there's usually consistency with each block reward and the block reward size for miners who win that race. But Doge is just like, yeah, let me just poke jest at this whole thing.
That's funny. Is it still like that?
I don't know anymore about, I want to look into it more. I just haven't had the time. I don't know how the mining things work anymore, because I think they've like, it's not like Bitcoin when I don't know how it works where new things are getting mined every day. I don't know about the halvings, or if they have halvings. I don't know much about it, but they didn't even have a development team until about 3 months ago, once the price spiked back, and they're like, they were just a fork and of the code base of whatever it was. And then I don't know, probably Bitcoin, but I don't know. Don't quote me. And then they didn't have a dev team that was really innovating on it, but now they're back in action. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm just thinking, if I ever get really bored, maybe I'll join that team. Try to do an RFC, like a commit for that, just to be like, I participated in a blockchain, but it's probably a bit less high barred for entry.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at the Bitcoin core code?
I want to. So I was writing.
Repo?
No, I haven't. I was looking at the BIPs, the blockchain, the BIPs, like there's like, how like ERC on Ethereum is like ERC 20, ERC 1556 and stuff, for the different protocol introductions of the new things that they either want people to take on. I think they're called BIPs in blockchain, in Bitcoin, BIPs.
I don't know.
And so you can go through all of those. So I went through that whole thing in their Git repo, but I've never looked through the code exactly.
Oh, is that like a tutorial?
No, it's on the repo. So that's how they do, like an RFC and a GitHub repo where they're like requests for comments. They just have a different name for them in the blockchain community as a developer. So for Bitcoin, I think it's BIPs, but really I'll have to look this up and we can put it in the show notes below. And for Ethereum, I think it's like ERCs or something, Ethereum request for comments.
Oh.
ERC 20 is the introduction of XYZ of DApp tokens or whatever. And then like ERC 731 is when non-fungible tokens came about. So that's why we now have NFTs. It's like in the 700s. I don't remember which ERC it is. But yeah, on Bitcoin, it's at like 1556 or something, 1500s now. But yeah, if you have to catch up on Bitcoin protocol introductions, that's how you do it.
Okay, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just looking at the GitHub code, and interesting thing is there are a bunch of pull requests, there are a bunch of issues, but there are only like a few core developers, and so like very few things get merged into the whatever the main branch is. And then like random people will just like make random PRs. So some people might be a cool feature that just sits there for a long time. Because there's no like one person who is who's like some like Bitcoin architect. Like it's just a bunch of people that like vote on
so
how
cool.
something should run. But it's cool. It's open source.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now on GitHub, right? So you've got Bitcoin, and so the repo, you see all the different forks of it, the different stars and everything. And here's the Bitcoin core page, right? So yeah, this is what John's talking about if you're watching on YouTube. But the thing I was mentioning was also the BIPs, so Bitcoin improvement proposals. And so that's right here. And right here is where you'll see everything that goes through. So pretty cool stuff. Like if you look for, Ethereum, ERC, GitHubs, you should be able to see the EIP issues as well. And right here.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, anyways, I really wanted to just see the 21, which is, this is it. That's the one that all the dApps are built off of, which is kind of cool. That's like why we have so many different things in the top 10, coin market caps.
Whoa, interesting.
All of these, like Coinbase, basically most of Coinbase are Ethereum dApps if you look into it. So yeah, like a lot of these are these ones are actually forks, so they're standalones. But a lot of the things, like I think each, oh man, yeah, I need to look into it. But a lot of these are built off of Ethereum as of dApps. Yeah, pretty cool.
That is very cool. Dude. It'll be cool to see what Bitcoin is, or like what blockchain, and like what kind of applications it lets us have, and like what it does for society like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I think in 1999, like you had pets.com and you had these websites where you could buy stuff online, but I don't think people would have expected Amazon like the way it is right now.
No.
Actually, I'm wrong. There are some people who expected it. Bill Gates wrote a book it was like 1997 or something. He wrote a book that basically he was right about every single prediction. He was just like, yeah, people are going to work from their computers. They're going to work remotely. Like, yeah, he had all these predictions. They were all right.
It makes a lot of sense. Not a prediction, but it's basically coming true. But something that I think was going to happen is there's going to be people who never adapt and just kind of stay in work office culture. But after the pandemic has hit and a lot of people go remote and they see how much they save in physical space rentals and stuff, they're going to try to stay remote. But then a lot of people are going to start saying, I miss that community aspect of working and just dropping by people's tables. So something I think is going to happen one day, especially with the rise and thinking about just NFTs. It's really interesting, in my opinion, is how you've got like VR kind of happening. But I do think that there might be a day where we're kind of working at home, but we're in that quote unquote, it's a taboo world, like cyber world or virtual world. But it's really cool in the sense that it's not just the working office spaces, but you can actually have these NFT artwork pieces directly in that world as well. And then you can have different art galleries. And then as you have your, say we have a VR headset on that doesn't hurt your face for hours. When you're in it, the cool thing about that reality is that you're able to create art installations that are larger than anything we can see in the real world. And you can take those pixels and you're basically like creating art and paying for pixel real estate and doing some really, really beautiful things because there's so much detail and finesse you can get into them. And then with that, I think there's going to be a whole layer. So you've got the world and you've got globalization and you've got the global GDP of X amount. And that's just all of our commerce. But once this extra world, which is being built out right now of the Web 3.0 and the quote unquote, they call it the metaverse and NFTs and this whole VR space and remote digital work culture space and blockchain tech, I think that there's going to be a whole layer that is already showing that we're basically going to have the world GDP physically, and then we're going to double that GDP ability by going into a virtual layer as well. So we're kind of drilling down, and then one day we'll expand to be multiplanetary and such. But right now, that's the next step to, I think, how we grow even more with regards to just GDP potential, is my theory from what I've heard on different conversations and podcasts and YouTube videos.
Oh, I didn't realize you're trying so hard to make sure that we have a high GDP.
I just think GDP is an interesting thing and money is very interesting. I don't know.
It's funny how it's just a random thing that someone made up. Where they're like,
Yeah.
let's measure our production.
Yeah, I don't know enough about GDP.
It's just,
I hear there are negative things for how it crafts markets and the way it shapes our financial markets. I guess it has some merit.
Yeah, I don't think you need to know anything about GDP other than that it measures the how much we produce in goods and services. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, so gross domestic product, right? The GDP, and it's totaling all of the product in a monetary number that's physical goods
or services. I mean, no, it doesn't have to be physical. It's just like it's measuring anything that's created as a service or product. Like it could be digital too, because it's something that someone else would pay for.
Interesting. Do they find that measurement from taxes? Is that one thing? Like they don't have a census for it. They can't know that Moon Tea Podcast is making $0. What if we're making in a hypothetical world $100? Would that add to, how would they know that $100 has been added to the US GDP?
I think you can estimate those things pretty easier than you would expect. So like, let's say emissions from cars, like you don't need to like try to measure how many cars there are and all of that, although there probably are people who do that, but you can just look at how much gas is sold.
That makes sense.
And
you can just look at YouTube's quarterly reports. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm reading Ready Player 2.
No way. That's cool. I never read it. I want to read it though. How do you like it?
It's good. Yeah. Have you read Ready Player 1?
I'm on Ready Player 0 right now. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, it's just a book and turned movie about a guy who lives in a world where you can like be in this VR, like just like this VR chamber, and then there are a bunch of people that live in this like VR world. They like, play games together, and they go to school, and they have like access to all these things. Like it has its own currency, and it has like an entire economy. And then he like solves this big challenge where at the end of it he wins the challenge, and then he like wins the prize, and he like owns the company that built it.
Spoiler alert.
But in the second one, they have a product where it's virtual reality, but it like connects to your brain. And so if you're in virtual reality and you're like eating a meal, you can like feel the pleasure of eating that meal.
So Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink.
I love it.
Yeah.
In the movie, they had the feel suit, right, on the VR headset. There's like the sensory suit.
Yeah. I guess the one in the second one is just like a
next level.
It's a super one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just bring it up because it's cool to think about the future and what technology can do, and we're probably overestimating the pace of technology in some ways and then underestimating it in other ways.
Yeah,
it's kind of like impossible to know for sure, but I do hope we do some good. Like I hope we combat climate change.
Yeah. How many years do you think it'll be till we get a bunch of electrical vehicles on the road and all the gas vehicles are out? I heard someone say something crazy in like 5 years, and I was like, whoa, that sounds that would be cool. I don't know if that's possible though. There's just so many gas guzzlers out there.
So Norway made it so that by 2025 you will not be allowed to buy a gasoline car.
Really? Interesting.
And then Washington was the first state to do something similar. So by 2030, you are not allowed to buy a gasoline car.
Interesting.
Or I guess register a gasoline car as well. But I suspect, according to ARK Invest, which is a fund / research company that invests in a lot of like high tech, like publicly traded companies. Like they did some research arguing that right now if you look at total cost of ownership, electric cars are at parity with gasoline cars.
Wow.
So they have like higher initial costs. So like initially they cost more, but when you factor in the cheaper cost of electricity and like fewer repairs and all that, like they argue that a Model 3 could be pretty comparable to an Accord if you drive it for like 8 years.
Interesting.
But I think some of those numbers are optimistic. And then in industry, they say that we'll reach that point where when you can buy battery cells at $100 per kilowatt. Yeah, $100 per kilowatt hour. And then like my dad's Model 3, I think, is like 70 kilowatt hours. And then it's like Teslas are like the lowest battery they've ever made is like 60. So it's like, anyway, so what we're, and then people are saying that Tesla has reached that cost already, but they're keeping it really private.
Wow.
So that's a long-winded way of saying that I think we're pretty close to parity. Like if people were more informed about the benefits of electric cars, then a lot more would be buying electric cars or like looking to buy electric cars. and so I guess over the next 5 years, like battery costs are gonna go down. I think they've been going down like 30% a year, like something crazy like that.
Really?
Like
Wow.
there's a Moore's law for battery costs.
No way.
And I think it's not gonna work for like decades like the real Moore's law has, but battery costs have been going down a lot. So anyways, so yeah, I think what year is it? 2021. I think in 4 years, I I would be surprised if in the US we still had more than 50% of cars sold being gasoline cars.
All right. You
So
heard it
yeah.
here first.
You heard it here first from a guy who read it from a bunch of other people and heard a bunch of other people say it, but then put it out here on the Moon Tea podcast.
Exactly.
First take, hot take.
Hey, that's why you get your news first from MTP.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. It's really cool. I don't know enough about electrical things. I would like
There's
to
no reason
have
to.
an electrical car, especially a Tesla one day. The thing is, I just got a used RAV4 the other month, and it's the 2017. The newer ones have hybrid, but this one is fully gas. And I remember thinking, you know, I could possibly buy a Leaf or something, or an electric car, and I laugh because it's a Leaf. But I was just thinking about it, and the technology for those types of batteries seems solid enough. But I hear that the batteries in Arizona, where temperatures get up to 120 Fahrenheit in the summer, don't do too well for batteries. And then also I'm wondering about, I find myself not wanting to get an electrical car unless it has the capability of going autonomous, because then like I feel like that's around the corner too. Either Waymo, Google, or Tesla is going to figure that one out for level 4, is it? And
I mean, for you, it's literally around the corner because you're in what 20 minutes away from Phoenix, where they have all that.
Yeah, Waymo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see them all the time on the roads. It's very cool. And then you got, you know, Teslas all around too. But it's like, I don't want to buy an electrical car if it doesn't have the capability of going autonomous, because then I'll just, sure, 4 or 5 years I'll be phased out for gas and go to electric. But it's like, what? How many more years to just get autonomous vehicles that are solid? And then I can't hold a car for 7 years. I feel like I'm going to be forced to purchase car after car now, even though I want to just buy and hold.
Yeah, I think it would be so cool if Tesla did their robo taxi, and then I would just like sell my car because someone would be willing to pay a lot more than I bought for it because it can like accrue revenue, just like giving autonomous Uber rides to everyone.
Dude, you should link that video in the show notes, the one by Elon of that vision. I remember you sent it to me and you're like, this is the future of Tesla. This is why I'm so interested in it as an investment. And
I don't remember what I sent you.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it and find it. If we do, we'll add it to the show notes. You heard this here first as well. All right. Now, I think it would be really cool because I thought that was a really eye-opening talk about just the roadmap of Tesla and how big of a picture they're thinking on innovation scale and such. And
are you talking about when they were talking about their AI and like their neural networks and how that all works, and like all the people that were working on the hardware and the software and like came up and gave a big talk?
I'm gonna have to have myself rewatch it, and I'm gonna click on the show note links and see. We'll talk about it soon. I don't remember. I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah,
But I
it's all
remember the
good.
robotaxi and stuff was in it, and I was like, well, that's a
Yeah.
really interesting idea. Drop my car off, go hang out with some friends, eat a dinner, go on a date, drop the kids off, and then the car's going, making me dollars. I'm okay with this.
As you're going on a date, and then your wife is at home with the kids.
Wait, no, hold on. This came off wrong. Date and kids.
He's your
Date,
true
married, and then
girlfriend.
kids.
Take note.
Oh no! Don't ever listen to what is this episode 8? Never, please.
But yeah, I hope it's real. My dad just bought a Model Y, and
Congrats.
he was because their other car broke down, like it wouldn't start. But
Oh,
but
hold on.
it's
I think my internet's cutting out. Hello, hello.
hey, can you hear me?
Oh.
What's wrong?
All right,
Can
all
you hear
right.
me?
There you go. It's back. I don't know if it
Okay.
is what happened. Well, your father just bought a Model Y.
Yeah, and I had to convince him to pay $10,000 more to get full self-driving.
Wow.
Even though he's not going to use it, I was like, I'll pay it, please, just get it. But
Wow.
I have second thoughts about, like, I don't think it was worth it, but it's more faith that like 5 years from now we'll be giving out these Uber rides.
That is so cool. I don't know. Can you give me a quick catch up? You are the closest thing that I have to a, a Tesla nerd to nerd out with. And thing as in person, of course. But what catch me up? What's a quick fun update? I don't know much about the Model Y and whatnot. So is it the only one that could get autonomous right now, or is there
Well,
just the newer versions?
any Tesla that you buy right now, you can pay $10,000 to have some. They call it full self-driving, but it's not. So it's like some like better autopilot features, and a lot of those are like in progress and like beta versions and all of that. So they have a rewrite that lets you that drives for you on like some city streets.
Interesting.
And right now that's only open for like a really small group of people. Um, and so yeah, for some people who bought that full self-driving update have access to all of those updates as it comes.
Right.
But if you do not pay for that, then you get the like in the freeway, it like stays in the lane, stays behind the car in front of you, which that's totally fine.
How many levels did the self-driving features go up to, and which one is Tesla at right now for most of them that you're talking about, the freeways? And then what do they think that full self-driving one is at, and where will it get to?
There are 5 levels. So like 4 or 5 would be the goal. Five literally is like no steering wheel. And then four is you can take over for like some weird, like if you need to. 3 is the gray area because if you get in an accident, like you don't really know who's responsible. Is it the car or is it the person? Like no one really knows. And then number 2 is just like autopilot right now.
Is Tesla, what's the most of them at right now? What are most of them at?
2.
Okay. What gets it to 3?
Just slow improvements.
Is there like a thing it does, like goes through not just highways but does red stoplights and stuff?
Let me find where is this? Level 5 self-driving. Oh, 6 levels. That's not right. All right. Level 0 to 5. Oh, there's a 0. I feel like that's not. Yeah. Level 5, the driverless car can operate on any road, any conditions that a human driver can negotiate. Level 2. Level 3.
So what did they say?
I
Or
guess with the rewrite, it potentially goes to number 3, but Tesla will never tell you that.
what's the rewrite? The rewrite for the software?
Oh yeah, they rewrote like some of the software stuff.
Interesting. All right, so they're like quote unquote 2, but secretly 3 possibly, and
Yeah, but
they'll
they're
never
not
say
gonna.
it.
Yeah, they'll always say that that you're the one responsible, because there's always going to be someone who dies because they overestimated autopilot's capabilities.
And then level 4 and level 5 is when they're gonna have to like change legislation and such to just have full driving capabilities without having at the what is it minute they have to touch the steering wheel, or is that
Um, yeah, well, that's why Tesla is has an insurance like part of their company.
oh really?
Yeah, because I guess you kind of need that when like you can also be the one taking responsibility. Also, you have access to a bunch of data, and so you can like I guess underwrite more precise policies.
Cool. Wow,
Yeah.
that makes that would be really cool. I guess it's like root car insurance but even better. I don't know about root, that was an advertisement.
I don't know what
Supposedly
that is.
they're like techie, like do more techie stuff off of GPS on your phone, or you put like a thing in there, the car thing.
Hmm. But yeah, I hope Tesla does it, because right now, if if you think Tesla is going to be like a good electric car company and never do autonomy, then like you should not hold the stock. Like you should sell it. Like
Really?
it's yeah, I think
That makes sense,
it's
I guess, because it'd be
it's
competing
pretty.
with all the other people just in the electrical vehicle market.
Yeah, like it's has like, I don't know, 700 billion. Wait, I don't know, some giant valuation, and like doesn't really make sense if you're only a car company.
Oh, yeah, we should do it. I like this. I haven't talked about Tesla in so long. Oh man.
But if you think that uh in the foreseeable future we'll have these like self-driving Uber Tesla taxis, then that is a several trillion-dollar opportunity.
Got it.
$1 billion, whatever the valuation is, at trillion. So
If they're like $700 billion as their valuation, and the market is, yeah, it would probably be a few trillion, because they wouldn't capture the whole market, so the valuation would be a partial percentage of it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that's where you got crazy margins. That's where you can like sell a car for zero profit, but then make all your profit on the autonomous network. That's where Tesla could have their own fleet of cars and just like not sell them to people.
Interesting. Oh,
Um,
I see.
that's where you can start getting into like an app store, and then start like Apple gets like 30% of all the revenue of every time you make a purchase through the app store. So like Tesla's going to start doing that. or like I hope they start doing that. I think that's a really good idea. Like imagine you have a self-driving car, but then on the screen you can, I don't know, you have like a Yelp app that is making suggestions for like where to eat
Oh, inside the car, like on the car
inside the car.
dashboard. Okay, so
Yeah.
the app
Or
store
yeah.
would be in the car as you're driving
Yeah.
in it, and it can like advertise even or have apps that help you. And they would probably not let Apple and Google Android systems, operating systems in, and they'd make their own app store and monopolize it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That makes
Tesla would
sense.
like
Yeah.
own the experience inside the car.
Wow.
But yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Check the show notes below. We're gonna link a few things.
I hope so. I
Exciting.
might forget.
No. We'll figure it out. I'll remember.
Anyway, speaking of high tech stuff, that the Apple event was kind of cool. Like those iMacs, I think, are so sleek.
I did not watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I didn't. It's so
Oh,
bad.
it's okay. It's not.
Tell me. Catch me up.
Well, they announced a new iMac that uses the M1 chip.
Hmm.
So it's the same chip that is on the base MacBook right now, and also the 13-inch MacBook Pro. It uses, it's like a chip that Apple made, and so it has a different architecture, which that's not the point, but it's faster and it's uses less energy, and it's like incredibly powerful. But yeah, the iMac is like relatively affordable. It's like $1,200 for the lowest cost. 24-inch screen, looks awesome, and um, yeah, like I think it's really cool. They also announced AirTags, so you can get like 4 for $100 or 1 for $29, and they use the whole like Find My iPhone network,
Hmm.
and then you can like attach it as a keychain or put it with something that you might lose. The battery lasts for about a year,
Cool.
so
Cool.
that's pretty cool. And then they announced a new iPad Pro that I don't really care about.
Gotcha.
Oh, and then a new color for the iPhone. It's like purple, which I also don't care about.
It always makes me sad when I have to put on a case, and I'm like, it's so pretty, and then I just put on a case, so the color doesn't really make a difference. But I guess it does to some people. Guess it does.
Yeah. But I only watched like 4 minutes of it, the event, but it was really cool because it's not live anymore. And
Really?
so
Oh wow.
yeah, and so it's just like all edited, and so they'll have like Tim Cook walking, and then they'll have footage of like flying through the office, like through the blade of grass, and then you go to somewhere else, like someone else on the campus, and
That's so cool.
yeah, it's cool. Like,
You gotta kind of visit the campus. I've never been able to visit it. Have you ever visited the UFO?
no,
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to someday.
yeah, I would also love to visit the any of the Tesla factories. Like the Gigafactory would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there when we were in San Francisco, if you drove down to South Bay, we'd drive by it, right? Didn't they have
Yeah, they have the
I
Fremont
always looked at
factory.
it. The Fremont one, yeah. Would you want to go there? Is that's not a gigafactory? The gigafactories are in Nevada, right?
Yeah, there's one in Nevada. Um, Austin has a Gigafactory now.
And they're building one
Like,
in China. And
yeah, they have one in Shanghai, which it's amazing. Like right before they started, it was just like a plot of land. Like it used to be a farm. A year later, there was like there were cars coming out of it.
it's unbelievable. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
goodness.
unbelievable.
It's like watching The Sims, playing The Sims. You just see it growing up and it happens in real life.
And then every week there would be people with drones and they give you an update on what part of the building got built. I don't know why, but they're like crazy fanatic, these like fanboys that even more than me. They're like, I need a drone and I need to go there and I need to make this like time lapse YouTube video over a year where like it shows all the building. But it's cool for people like me. I just watch it at 2x speed and I'm like, oh neat. Like and then they're also building one in Berlin.
Ich bin ein Berliner. Ich habe einen Tesla auf die Tesla Gigafactory, ja.
Yeah. So yeah, exciting stuff happening. Semis coming out later this year.
Finally, that's been in the works for a while.
Yeah. Cybertruck.
Is the Cybertruck coming out this year? Is it on time? I
think it was delayed a little bit because of COVID, but I think mass production will be next year.
Gosh, that's going to be incredible seeing those on the street. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's the ultimate tough guy car.
The ultimate tough guy car.
Yeah. Just imagine that next to an F-150 and just being like, and what?
Yeah. I want that. Yeah. I know a guy who he bought it the $100 down payment, and live at the event, so he's probably like top few hundred. Well, when the event happened online, and he clicked it and the website had bugged a bit, so he clicked it didn't go through, so he clicked it like 4 times and it ended up him getting 5 $100 tickets to Cybertruck. And he still has them. I'm like, really? Wow. What are you gonna do, like sell them? It would be cool if they embroidered your number of your order bid into the Cybertruck seat for the first few thousand. I was 2,500 of the Cybertruck. That'd be so sick.
Dude, I made a deposit for the Model 3 on the first day.
Amazing.
I was like, I don't even know if I'll need a car. I just want to be part of history.
It worked. It's so good. You love your Model 3.
Yeah, except that I don't use it anymore. My mom loves it.
That's really funny. Forgot. You didn't bring it up to Seattle, did you?
No. No, I drive my roommate's Toyota Corolla.
Love it. It's such a good car.
Yeah, it's a good car.
So good. But that's funny though. Your mom is just cruising around. No wonder your mom and dad now they've been sold. They've lived the life. They can't go back.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm excited for Tesla's product roadmap. They have a lot of cool stuff in store.
Oh, anything you didn't mention? Anything you want to talk about that I'm sure I don't know
of? The Roadster. There'll be the Model 2 eventually, which is like a more compact, more budget Tesla.
Oh, cool.
But nothing has been announced or anything. Like nothing's been designed. They're interesting that they're hiring designers in China to design a car. It's like design a China vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a really cool ad for it where Franz, whatever his last name is, the head of design at Tesla, like someone's like Franz, and then they show him this, and then he looks at it and he's like, who built this? And then he goes, it's an ad to apply to work at Tesla.
What? I love it. So is the China car going to just be sold and made in China and distributed there, or is it going to be purchasable overseas?
I think it's going to be designed and made in China, and then it'll probably be like throughout Asia.
Okay.
But China is the biggest EV market in the world by far.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
So that's probably the most important factory right now.
That makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. And then they're doing the solar panels still from Solar City that they took on, or the solar roofing and
yeah, it's
power pack.
it's definitely not a priority.
Hmm.
Like,
Makes sense.
yeah, and then with batteries, we have like the storage, like battery storage for home. But I think right now they're just like trying to get more and more batteries, and so that's like another big reason why the semi is delayed,
because of battery creation.
Yeah, because it uses so much more battery per car. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime with manufacturing, there's always going to be like the thing that is slowing you down, or like not even with manufacturing, but like with a company that is growing that fast. And so like when you make a car, you have to have 100% of the parts and you need to put it together. So like you can't have like 99% of the parts. So there's always like the last thing that is making everything lag. And so yeah, like that was part of the that was part of the Model 3 like nightmare in like 2018, 2019. That's why Tesla stock was like tanking for the longest time.
You got it. Yeah, the pipeline issues, right? They just couldn't, the quotas. It's hard. They had to like make 100,000 Model 3s in a quarter or something once, right? It's hard.
Yeah, and then they had these crazy audacious goals that obviously were not met. And then even in the Tesla community, they would there was this they called it Elon time. So it's like someone would ask like, "Hey Elon, when are we going to see some more like full self-driving features?" And he would respond on Twitter, be like, 3 months, possibly 6 months, definitely. And then people would be like, "Okay, in Elon time, what does this mean?" Like we think this is like 1 year, 2 years.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because he did not meet that timeline. It was like 2 years later where there was any difference. But hey, he he put a roadster into orbit, so
That's
gotta give
really
him some
incredible.
credit.
Oh my goodness.
You know, during a quarterly shareholder call, he literally, like, this is like peak Model 3 like pain and like just like manufacturing hell. On the quarterly shareholder call, he literally goes, "If we can put a roadster into orbit, then we can solve this production issue."
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, talk about a high benchmark. You're like, we did this, so everything else should be easy enough.
But yeah, it'll be, what was interesting was like in the 1980s and 1990s, if you looked at the top 10 most valuable companies in the S&P 500, so like American valuable companies, like most of them are oil companies. So it's like energy. And then now it's tech. But then the power of the oil and like gas companies is going down. And so what other people are saying is that buying Tesla stock is like getting exposure to like the new energy, or like the renewable energy market, I guess. And like what some people are betting is that Tesla will like make this whole like new energy infrastructure possible, where people have their own batteries and like their own solar panels, and it's like, you know how in Texas they like really want to be energy independent, and so they literally have their own power grid.
Yeah.
Like when you have your own solar panels and your own batteries, like that'll be like true energy dependence.
Yeah, and that I love the idea of the solar shingles that are
Yeah.
beautiful and two directional. So I just want it for our place, but we can't probably because of HOAs. So we need the curved ones. But
Oh, really?
yeah. I really don't think our HOA would let it. Stupid HOAs.
Dude,
But
damn HOAs.
darn.
Um,
However,
hmm.
the energy market, I think that's a really cool discussion to maybe put a peg in it for today. I'm sure we're running out of time, but to come back to in a future episode where we talk about kind of the different um, markets that could be, and ways in which there are some major problems out there and what solutions are being made by really cool people that aren't just Tesla, but other cool
Oh
people
yeah,
too.
tons
Yeah,
of companies in that space.
I
But
think that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
it'll be really exciting to it was like, you know, in the last year, like green companies, like a lot of those stocks have like tripled and quadrupled, and uh like yeah, there's some exuberance, but it's sending a message to those companies that, you know, hopefully you can survive, and like people are willing to invest in you. um so yeah, it'll be like really exciting to see that happen, because it's a free market approach towards addressing climate change.
Yeah, right. If we've done a free market approach to creating reusable rockets into space, I feel like we can do a free market approach to creating a pretty successful green industry.
Yeah, hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm like genuinely worried, or like concerned, and like I don't know what to do. But maybe that's something, another topic that we can discuss, because
Yes, that feeling of just not inadequacy, but inability to kind of
yeah,
what is it that let's dive into that. That would be really good.
yeah. And
I really like
yeah,
that.
you know, it's another thing I would like to do.
Hmm.
I'm gonna call out Trader Joe's for having too much damn plastic in all of their products. All of that plastic just ends up in landfills. Come on, Trader Joe's. We need a change.org that. We need some followers. If I had a like a big follower account, I would make a change.org petition, and then like ask everyone to get on that.
I love it. At your
Yeah.
Trader Joe's, for the bags that you get your produce in at Trader Joe's, is it that green one that's like really light, soft,
No.
flat? No.
Is
Or is
yours?
it just yeah, we have like this really cool
Uh
one, and I think it's biodegradable,
oh,
and the
cool.
rest is not. But I want to double check it because we shop at Fry's too, and when we go to Fry's, it's just the regular plastic bags.
Oh,
And
okay.
then when I go to Trader Joe's, I feel it, and it's like a soft membrane. I'm like, I enjoy the feel of this texturally, but I think there's something special about it, and I'll look into it to double check. But
Yeah. Need
yours
some more
doesn't.
data points.
Yeah,
No,
what?
dude. I bought tea, and each tea bag is individually wrapped in plastic. And like, who needs that?
That's overkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
been thinking
yeah.
about that a lot too. Just plastic bags that we take stuff home in. What is the alternative? And there's the one you can bring from home. No one does that. It's just, is it really plastic? Just because it's so malleable and easily made for such cheap amounts, is there really nothing else that can be done? I was looking up YouTube videos on it, and there's like people that are able to make cement blocks out of plastic now in
Oh,
Africa,
really?
and that
Cool.
was a really cool thing. But Arizona doesn't recycle. We have recycling bins we take out, but I don't think we have a recycling facility. I think it all goes to a trash dump, and it makes me really
That
sad. We're
sucks.
barbarians.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, like, most plastic doesn't get recycled anyways. Like
Yeah,
this will not be recycled. It
which,
sucks.
but it doesn't make sense. Like, how is that really the only way we can do this? Is there really no other tech? It would be cool if we can explore that. Maybe we can find someone to bring on as we hit our 9, 10, 11 plus episode counts to start to find these types of thought leaders and talk with them. I'd be so down.
Okay, correction. This might be recycled because it's the highest quality plastic that can be recycled.
Interesting.
But yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like that would be a cool episode where we just discuss how to save the world. Just like as a one of the 7 billion people in the world, how to save it. But hey, it's ambitious, but it's worth trying.
We should see who we can bring on to educate us just about that knows about, like, who's the highest tier person we can get to hop on and talk about it, and then just be like, yeah, tell me more.
Well, let's start with Al Gore. So
all right, Al Gore, let's tweet him. We have one tweet on MTP. Let's go. Tweet us back, Al Gore.
Would you like to close?
All right. It's been a fantastic day, everybody. I hope you all have had fantastic days and weeks and weekends. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Moonteed Podcast with John and Hugh, your co-hosts. We hope you tune in next time. Thank you so much. See you later.
Peace.